Attention passionate Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Cleveland Browns' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Cleveland Browns fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Cleveland, BROWNS FANS. Let's get to the news now, Browns fans. You know the NFL offseason is always filled with surprises. But this year, there's a particular story that's capturing everyone's attention, the saga of Shedeur Sanders and his prospects with the Cleveland Browns. Yes, you heard that right. Shedeur Sanders, the talented quarterback from Colorado, son of legendary Jayden Sanders, has been making headlines across the league. And naturally, Browns fans are wondering, what does this mean for Cleveland? Could the Browns potentially pick up a player with such a high-profile background? Or is this just a temporary story that will fade away? Well, let's dig into it and understand what's really happening behind the scenes, what the expectations are, and what this could mean for the Browns' quarterback situation moving forward. First off, Shedeur Sanders fell to the 5th round in this year's NFL draft, which was a bit surprising given his impressive college performance and the buzz surrounding him. But as many of you know, the draft isn't just about talent. It's also about team needs, scheme fits, and sometimes just pure luck. The Browns, like many teams, have a crowded quarterback room right now. With 5 quarterbacks on the roster, including Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dillon Gabriel, and even unproven talents, the competition is fierce. That's a lot of depth at the position, and naturally, questions arise. What is Cleveland planning to do with Sanders? Will he get a shot to prove himself in camp, or could he be cut loose before the regular season even begins? Well, the initial reports and insiders suggest that Sanders is aiming to be at Browns training camp come July. That's a good sign, right? It indicates that he's not just sitting back and waiting, he's committed to earning his spot. But here's where it gets interesting. Some analysts, like Chris Bumbaca from USA Today, have expressed skepticism. Bumbaca pointed out that with 5 quarterbacks on the roster, the Browns could decide to part ways with Sanders before the start of camp, especially if they feel he's not fitting into their plans. And honestly, that's not an unreasonable thought. Teams are always looking at their roster needs, and if they believe Sanders isn't ready or doesn't fit their scheme, they might cut him loose to make room for someone else. However, what's crucial to understand is the context. Shedeur Sanders isn't just some project or unproven rookie. The guy has talent, and that's something the Browns cannot ignore. Even if he's not expected to start right away, the potential is there, and Cleveland's management has historically been open to developing young quarterbacks behind a veteran like Watson. Remember, the Browns have had their fair share of quarterback issues over the past few seasons. The frustration of inconsistency, injuries, and sometimes questionable decisions have kept this team from reaching its full potential. So, cutting Shedeur Sanders without giving him a real shot to develop could be a mistake, especially if he continues to show flashes of brilliance in training camp. Now, some might argue that the Browns should just cut their losses and stick with their current roster, especially since they're in a win-now window with Deshaun Watson. But here's the thing, even Watson, despite his talent and experience, has been dealing with recovery from an Achilles injury and other off-field issues. The team needs a reliable backup, and perhaps even a future starter, and Sanders could very well be that guy if given the chance. But the question remains, will the Browns see it that way? Or will they opt for a more veteran, seasoned backup and send Sanders packing? This is where the internal dynamics of the team and coaching staff come into play. Head coach Kevin Stefanski is known for his development approach, especially with young quarterbacks. Remember how he worked with Baker Mayfield early in his career? If he sees potential in Sanders, he might give him a shot to earn a spot, especially during the preseason. But the competition is stiff. Joe Flacco, with his experience and veteran savvy, is likely to be the primary backup, and Dillon Gabriel has shown promise. So, Sanders will have to work hard to stand out. That's what makes this storyline so compelling. Sanders isn't just hoping for a roster spot, he's actively fighting for it. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending, the latest Cleveland Browns news to you. It's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. What's also interesting is how Sanders is approaching this challenge. Despite not getting many reps with the Browns' first-team offense yet, he remains optimistic and focused. In interviews, Sanders has emphasized that he's ready to do whatever it takes to make the team, whether that's impressing in practice, showing leadership, or just being prepared when his number is called. He's taken a very mature approach, understanding that the NFL is a business, and opportunities come from preparation and perseverance. That mindset is crucial for any young player trying to carve out a place in this league, especially one coming from a high-profile background like Sanders. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Browns are at a pivotal point. They've invested heavily in Deshaun Watson, giving up significant assets to acquire him, and believing he can be the franchise quarterback they've been desperately searching for. But his injury history and off-field issues have created uncertainty. That's why having a solid backup who can step in and play at a high level is so important. If Sanders can show flashes of the talent he's displayed on the college level, he could become a real dark horse in this competition. The Browns' coaching staff is known for their developmental focus, and that could be a big advantage for Sanders if he's given the chance. Looking at the broader context of the AFC North, the division is arguably the most competitive in the league right now. The Baltimore Ravens have a dynamic quarterback in Lamar Jackson, with a solid roster that can compete for a deep playoff run. The Cincinnati Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, are stacked defensively and have proven to be playoff contenders. The Pittsburgh Steelers, with their solid defense and quarterback Kenny Pickett, are also in the mix. So any shift in the Browns' quarterback situation could have ripple effects across the division. If Cleveland manages to develop a young, talented quarterback like Sanders into a reliable backup, or even a future starter, it could provide a significant edge over divisional rivals. And let's not forget the history of Browns quarterbacks. This franchise has seen its share of ups and downs, from the legendary Bernie Kosar to recent struggles trying to find stability at the position. Every year, fans hope that this might finally be the year they turn the corner, and having a promising young quarterback in the pipeline is always part of that hope. Sanders, with his pedigree and talent, could be part of that future if he manages to earn his spot and develop within the Browns system. Now, what's next for Sanders and the Cleveland Browns? Well, the real test begins when training camp opens. That's where the coaching staff will evaluate every player, including Sanders, and decide whether he belongs on the roster. It's a critical period where he needs to impress not just with his physical skills, but also with his football IQ, leadership, and consistency. The preseason will be another opportunity to make an impact, a stage where many young players have turned heads and secured their future in the league. So, Browns fans, keep an eye on this story because the next few weeks will be telling. And for the Browns organization, it's about balancing development and winning now. They've committed a lot to Deshaun Watson, but they also need to prepare for the future. Players like Sanders represent that hope, a potential gem who can develop into a reliable backup or even a starting quarterback down the line. The coaching staff will need to evaluate his progress carefully, but the talent is undeniable. It's just a matter of whether he can adapt quickly enough to the NFL level and prove that he belongs on this roster. In conclusion, Browns fans, this story about Shedeur Sanders is far from over. It's a classic NFL narrative, a young prospect fighting for his place, surrounded by a competitive roster, trying to carve out a future in one of the league's toughest divisions. The excitement is real, and it's a reminder of how unpredictable and thrilling this sport can be. Whether Sanders makes the team or not, his journey is going to be fascinating to watch. And as always, the Cleveland Browns are at the heart of the action, trying to reclaim their spot among the NFL's elite. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting your Browns through every twist and turn of this exciting offseason. And now, Cleveland Browns fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and the Cleveland Browns. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Cleveland Browns news.